After all that's happened in the past few days, has it been difficult for you and the players to focus on the game against Montenegro tomorrow night?
Not at all. I think that we've dealt with everything as we have, and the reason we've tried to do that as quickly as possible is to focus fully on the match. And from the first football meeting yesterday morning, that's been our sole focus. Everybody's trained really well. The whole group are together now. Obviously, we lost Fabian Delph, who wasn't going to be able to recover in time for the second game. Jordan Henderson joined us for training this morning. So we're looking forward to getting on with it.
Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about your decision to drop Raheem Sterling for this game. Especially a lot of former players have been saying that they feel that you've maybe overreacted and this is something that happens the whole time in the game. Are you sure that you made the right decision?
Well, of course, everybody, when you're a leader or a manager, will have an opinion on the decisions that you take. And only those that have been in this sort of position really know all of the detail that's involved in those decisions, all the complexities of any decision that you take. And everybody will view it differently. People will fall into every camp on every decision that you make. So you have to do what you believe to be the right thing. And if you're only prepared to make decisions that attempt to keep everybody happy, then that's not a route that's going to work either, because it's impossible to keep everybody happy. So I have to do, first and foremost, what's right for the country, what's right for the team, and all the while trying to look after the players. And I know that relationship with players, I've been a player, my relationship with managers was always up and down, because you're in the team, you're out the team, and on that alone, you feel differently about the manager on any given day. So that's part and parcel of it. And the most important thing is that you have really strong relationships, that you work through those bits, and the team is always the priority.
Raheem's arguably been your best player over the past 12 months. How much will you miss him tomorrow night?
Well, of course, he's in outstanding form, and he's an outstanding player. So, but we've got a very good team out tomorrow. We're excited to see the players play, and whatever team we put out, we always select a team, whoever's in it, that we believe can win the match, and that we believe can excite the crowd and put on a performance that is full of energy, full of speed, full of technical ability. We're the highest scorers game on game in Europe in this qualification, and I want a performance of high energy and good pressing and attacking football tomorrow.
And Joe Gomez hasn't been playing regularly for you or Liverpool. And in light of what's happened this week, is he in the right frame of mind to play tomorrow night if he's selected?
I think everybody in the squad is ready, and that's it's hardly ever any different. Sometimes you have players that are struggling with injuries or whatever, but everybody is ready for the game.
Gareth, you studied in depth the reasons that England had failed to get to major finals in recent years, failed to lift trophies, and one of those reasons was the club versus country clique. You've clearly drawn a line under events yesterday, but how important was it to send the message that when you arrive at St George's Park, you've got to put your club colours behind you or you don't put on an England shirt?
Yeah, I don't see that as an issue for us. I really think that this group of players are very close, and when you're involved in high emotion games, then it really challenges everybody's feelings, and it is a very difficult situation for everybody to come immediately back together. We had that with the Champions League final in a different way. 3 days before, we had a major semi-final for the Nations League. I think that was, an incredibly difficult preparation for all of us. So this is international football, because we have so many, nearly all of our players playing in England. It's inevitable that we're going to have those games and those rivalries. But the players are very, very close, and that's been the case, right the way through the rest of the week. And I don't see that changing, because they're too tight for that not to be the case.
But important to send that message that altercations as the team arrive isn't helpful, especially when it's a senior and a relatively junior player in this squad.
Well, I think I discussed everything around that yesterday in detail, and now it's what I saw on the training ground over the last couple of days, full focus on the game, everybody very together, laughing, enjoying their football again. That's where all of us want to be, on the pitch, in the fresh air. The focus in training was good, and the quality was excellent.
Also, looking back at where England had failed to get to major finals was penalties, which you'd looked at, but many people looking back at the 1000th game, Sven-Göran Eriksson saying his biggest regret not getting a psychologist. If you look back, is that penalty shootout win, your favourite game in the 1000th?
As a manager, certainly, because of the importance of not having won a knockout game for over 10 years, and the fact that we'd only won one penalty shootout in 7, so they were obviously huge psychological hurdles for the team and future teams to overcome. The drama of the night was certainly one that will be with all of us for a long period of time. So when you look back on some of the highlights of those 1000 games, I'm sure that game will play a big part. And what I'm always saying to the players is, and I've said it before here, every time you play for England, you have the opportunity to create these special memories that live with everybody in the country, and those big nights that everybody can kind of remember where they were and what they were doing, and the colours are so vivid. So that's where you want to be as a player in particular, and we always have to remember what a privilege it is to pull the shirt on.
And Harry, for you?
You said a little bit earlier, first and foremost, you have to do what's right for the country. The first thing you have to think about. Is dropping England's best player with 10 goals in 10 what's right for this country?
I think I have to always look at what's the right thing for the team to perform now and in the future, and ultimately that will be what's right for the country. So, of course, my decisions are the only ones that get tested by the game and the outcomes of the game and what happens over the next months and years. So that's the cross you have to bear as the manager, if you like. But I don't take enjoyment out of any of those sorts of things. But you have to make decisions. When you're in charge of anything, you have to make decisions, and your decisions have consequences. Whereas everybody else's opinions, their team never plays, their team's never tested on the field. And of course they don't always have all of the facts, because that's not possible for everybody. So I understand that landscape, and I'm comfortable with it.
Are you concerned in any way how this very public slap on the wrist will affect your relationship with him going forward?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, I know as a player my relationship with my managers and how I felt about them changed day to day. And there were many occasions when I had the hump with them, usually when I wasn't in the team. So I understand that. I hope that time takes its course on those things, and that there are lots of. As a manager, you hope that you bring lots of good moments for players. There are those occasions where you give them the debut, you give them the chance to play, but there are inevitably occasions when you don't start them, where you have to take them off, and that will always be the landscape. I hope that all of my players know that first and foremost I care about them, that I want to be fair with them, that I want to do what's right for all of them, and that they can lean on me when they need me. And I also accept that at times they're not going to be bouncing with joy when they see my face walking through the meal room. So that is part and parcel of being a manager. And if you're not up for that challenge, then better to go and do something else.
Is it fair to say he's got the hump with you right now then?
Well, I wouldn't imagine that he's hugely enthusiastic, but I can understand that. In the end, he's with the group. That's the most important thing. He's a massive part of what we do, has been, will be. He's with us for the game tomorrow. He's back with the team on the training pitch, enjoying his football, trained superbly well as he always does. So for me, the thing is finished.